friendly faces, heavenly places, they seem to call to me. If ever
Aloha everyone, today is a beautiful day in Hawai'i. Even though we're struggling with this COVID, I know that we all work together. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. It's a mindset. We have to think positive, and while I'm thinking positive, you know what? Kalamai, excuse me, I'm going to take this off so you can see all my wrinkles. But honestly, I feel so blessed. I feel that we're all in this together no matter what. And every week I concentrate on these beautiful women that's been in my life throughout the years. And today I have a magnificent young woman that I've known her almost at birth, because her mother and I was pregnant almost at the same time, and we're dear, dear friends. Matter of fact, she was a student slash friend slash now a sister of mine. You know, that's how it goes in the aloha world as far as the meaning of love and aloha. Sometimes your dearest friends are more like family to you than actually somebody by blood. Isn't that true? And that's the true essence of the Hawaiian culture today. Her name is Jasmine. I would say Jasmine Souza, and she's going to share with you all of her stories. Like I said, I've known her as a child, and she is absolutely phenomenal because she has gone through a lot. She was determined as a local girl right out of high school to actually leave and venture on into Las Vegas. She created a lifestyle of her own because she actually was a little of my keiki student, and she's so multi-talented in so many things that she does today. And I'm not going to go any further because I'm just going to introduce you to her, and I'm going to continue to talk about her history of life, and hopefully that it'll touch your heart as much as she has touched mine. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you Miss Jasmine. But before we go any further, Jasmine, this is a beautiful lei for you.
Wow.
From Formidabless and Yonathan. And you know, it's phenomenal with all our beautiful lei of Hawaii, because you know, like this lei takes hundreds of flowers, orchids to make. So we want to present this to you, sweetheart. I'm just going to have to give it to you, and you put it on because of social distancing, no kissing, no hugging,
thank you so
all of that.
much. So lovely.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of our Women Warrior program. And you know, you have a phenomenal story of all of your many accomplishments, and your lepo. I want to give a shout out to your mom, Miss Pikake.
Aloha, everybody. Yes.
Because she said, you're not going to go anywhere without your lepo, because she's very creative about that. I mean, you'll never miss her mom. She is over the top gorgeous. But let's talk about you, Jazzy, for all the different many things that you have accomplished in your life, in your perseverance, even in your adversities or struggles. You've always had a positive mind. So let me just have you take over and talk about you.
Okay. Well, aloha everyone, and I just want to say thank you for having me, Auntie. It is a true blessing to be here, and I feel so honored to just be a part of all of this, Auntie, and your vision and your drive. So you are an inspiration to us all and myself, always, since I was a little girl. But where should I start off, Auntie? I mean,
well,
there's
you
a
know,
lot.
you left right out of high school. You were very active in school, in the community, of course, with your mom. Yes, you know, selling your wares and all your creativity. And I know you've learned a lot from her.
Yes.
But like I said, let's talk about you. You went to Las Vegas for 15 years because...
Well, you know, at the time I was involved with a boy, and together he and I just did a lot of partying together, going out, drinking, you know, club scene. I was just tired of it, and I knew that there was something out there that I just needed to get a hold of. I needed something new, and so that was the adventure I decided to take on. It was scary, but I was ready.
You were ready.
And I stayed there for 15 long years. So.
And what did you learn about yourself with this boyfriend and your desires about, you were in Vegas, you worked in the casinos, you started to invest in you, and the reason?
The reason being is just everything that happened in my past. I wanted to make sure that I pursued things. You know, Hawaii felt like it was holding me back, but little did I know he was also a reason and also something that was holding me back. He was also a weight. But I couldn't see that through the love that I was feeling for him at the time. And so he really wasn't ready, even though he said he really wasn't ready to move forward and, you know, build something together. He wanted to stay in the partying life. We continued to drink, and then we took on gambling, you know, and so it was very tiring and taxing, because where I wanted to be in life, he just wasn't ready. He was in the same environment, wouldn't want to give up, you know, individuals in his life, and so we couldn't move forward together.
Well, I admire your strength and, you know, your circumstances that you were going through. You still had that vision, which is really important, because a lot of women at a very young age don't have a vision. You get stuck and you stay there. And the program is all about acknowledging your adversities and your struggles, but you want to invest in yourself and bring out the best out of yourself. So she was in the gambling, in the drinking, working the casinos, but then you decided, I needed more than this, because, you know, you write eloquently, you speak very nice in all of your writings, because you went through being a paralegal and learning about the law and investing in yourself. I keep saying that, invest in yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
So take over from there, you know,
Yeah.
Jazzy, as far as what was so important to you that finally you got that vision to say, hey, I'm better than this.
Yeah. You know, first of all, I thank God for the placement of people in my life who helped me to keep vision. Oftentimes we feel like the people that love us do that for us, but it's new individuals that enter your life that help you to remember these things. And so back to what you were saying, you know, I felt like I was dying. I felt like my past was preventing me from what I was going to become. And so that's where the determination came through, is that, you know, being in relationships that made me feel insecure, that I didn't trust, you know, being hurt so much, I just didn't want to die and not live. And I felt like that was where my life was heading, you know. I had already suffered from, you know, depression in my younger years, and I just didn't want to feed upon that anymore. I wanted to make sure that I was heading in some kind of direction that was more powerful and, you know, beyond me, no matter how much it would take and how much pain and suffering I was currently, you know, experiencing. I wanted to make sure that I kept my eye on the prize, regardless of all the distractions, all the pain, the heartache, and all that stuff. It was just not wanting to die.
Well, you know, I always say, you know, your life is your journey. And what is important out there, you cannot stop loving yourself, yeah? Put yourself first, about education, about your health and wellness. And like you said, put your eye on the prize of who you are, who you want to be. And that's heroic, because you saw that at a very young age. So did you stay with that boyfriend, or you said, okay, I'm over it?
Auntie, he didn't come home. He didn't come home. And so I said, I gave him a few chances, you know, but I did directly say, hey, you know, if this occurs another time, I'm out of here.
Good for you.
I'm just saying this as nicely as possible for you folks. But I did exit that relationship because it was toxic in its own way. Just because, you know, he was battling things on his own and wasn't ready for the new beginnings that I just knew, and I had faith that was in our horizon.
And so, you're not going to tolerate it. You just said, I'm over it. I'm over it. Totally.
Yeah, there's only so much you can take.
And so with this beautiful mindset that you had, you broke away from the boyfriend, lived on your own, invested to go to school, become the paralegal, learning more about law and yourself. That's amazing. Plus supporting herself. Yes, going through all of that, not calling home, goes, Mommy, Daddy, I'm really going through some hard times. You were too prideful.
Very. I was like, I'm not moving home, and I am not asking for help from home.
Yes. You know, I love it because, you know, whatever your mind can conceive and believe, you did achieve. You did achieve. You know, you were steadfast. You knew what you wanted, and you just imua. You just went for it. And that's important in life, girls out there and women. Just don't cut yourself short. Remember, the beauty is all about you from within. And when you feel good about yourself, you can be good for others. And I'll be right back. Right here, I'm holding the UV Tech sanitizer, and it's portable. You take it everywhere with you. with this beautiful light. I'm going to show you the light that goes on, okay? Sanitizer, portable UV light. So important to have in your life. Sanitize everything around you, not yourself, but everything else that possibly you would touch. Aloha. Woohoo! Thank you for tuning back with us. Drink lots of water, Jazzy. Drink lots of water. Health is wealth. You know, earlier for myself, I did take my temperature. You know, we did sanitize. You remember the Juvenex thing I told you about? Sanitize. You know, it's on my webpage if you're ever interested in this. Lysol, the hydrogen peroxide, the hand wash. I mean, we do it all right here because, you know, I'm not going to take this lightly. Like I've always said in all of my presentations, is that health is wealth, yes? And I need to be healthy. I need to be presenting myself in a positive way to follow all the guidelines of COVID. And you should too, because you never know when it's going to start getting close to home. As you saw my dear friend last week, that it was her own son, and you just never know. So I'm always here in the garden, but you never know when something's going to happen. So we always do preventive situations as far as take care of yourself, no matter what. You know, Jazzy, I mean, you're just so, I call you Jazzy because you're my
Yes, I love it.
I'm going to ask you, babes, to you know, you're like my own daughter. And when you're sad, I'm sad. And when I hear stories about you throughout your journey of life, the abusive situation you've gone through, but through your self-healing, now that you can talk about it openly, you will heal others out there. Because at one time or the other, all of us went through something, but not all of us are brave enough to talk about it. So Jazz, do you mind sharing your story with us, with the people out there?
Yeah, sure. This is a tough one, but I definitely want to talk about it because I know that other women have experienced it.
Yes.
But you know, as a child, 6 years old, you know, I had a favorite cousin. He was older, but I think maybe, you know, what his eyes were on at the time is what influenced him to come to me, because of course I was the closest, you know. But you know, he did touch me. He was older than I was. Of course, you know, 6 is a pretty young age to go through something like that. But this was just really pivotal in my life because it was somebody I truly trusted more than a brother. We're closer than my own brother. So that really made a negative impact for me because from that moment on, I felt like I couldn't trust anyone anymore.
Especially a man.
Especially a man. That was the experience that really added on to the depression that I feel like I was already feeling at such a young age.
So going through all of this, and you've gone through several other traumas in your life, do you mind sharing? I'm sorry for just throwing you out there.
Absolutely
but because of you, you've helped so many women out there, not only as a paralegal, but also as a mentor for a lot of young women, that you share your stories. So that makes them feel they're not alone and they're easily to open up. And when you can open up and talk about it, truly, it's healing yourself. And there's a lot of women out there that's so shame. No, shame is out the door. Never mind the shame. The shame is when you take off all your clothes and go Walmart, walk around naked. Now that's shame. But other than that, talk about your trauma to your family, your friends, to yourself, to the coconut tree. Get it out. Get it out because it's healing you within.
Right.
Don't you think? And so when you were sharing with me and other women that you mentor and other women that you take under your wing, because you know what you've gone through since 6 years old. And because of that trauma, you went through the alcoholism or the, I don't know if it was drugs or with your boyfriend doing the drugs, not you, but because of all these little things, it causes you to go through more traumas in your life because you were holding it in. Do you think that's true?
It is very true because you try to find ways to suppress what you're feeling. And then, you know, you look for things that, you know, don't last or, you know, just quick
give you the
fixes.
fast high.
Quick fixes. But I was never addicted to drugs because, you know, with another experience that I had. So it was mainly alcoholism, a lot of it. But I was in denial, of course, like most of them are.
Yes.
And it you know, the funness makes it seem like it's okay. But it really was hurting me. Other things that I did experience was, other boyfriends, having, sexual affairs with my best friends, So things like that have occurred in my life, and it made me not like other women, trust, or enjoy their company or anything like that. It made me feel insecure, not worthy, when other women were prettier and they had a lot of other things going on. And in this, time in my life, it's like, no way will I ever feel that way again. We're all beautiful. We're all, just because, of one man's mistake, we shouldn't hate on each other. We shouldn't say, oh, this and this and gossip. We definitely do need to lift each other up, because I feel like we can relate on so many levels with the things that we've been through, and we can only just help, light up each other's lives.
Well, I really like what you just said, because looking at you, people would never think you went through all of that. And women out there, what is so important is that take this as a lesson in life and use that to develop the best of you. Yes, not only it's a weakness, but have it as your strength, because you cannot go back to the mistakes that happened in your life. But what we can use those experiences as lessons to be better.
Yes.
And that's what you did, because there's no ugly in you, in your looking at you or in your heart. And yet you told me you looked at other women thinking they're more beautiful than you, or they're more smarter than you. But when you forgot to look at you, look at yourself in the mirror. Now you can and say, listen, I've invested in me. I took the time to educate me. And because of those lessons, now you have a voice. Now you can nurture other young women, or just women, even old women, to say it doesn't matter your age, because we all gone through stuff in our life, but to get rid of the stuff, get rid of the stuff. It's okay. We kind of bring back what happened to us, but use those as great lessons and gifts. I know it sounds crazy. A gift? What is Auntie talking about a gift? I mean, I was harassed, I was abused, I was nearly raped, or I was on drugs and this and that, or I had young pregnancies. Yes, but look at the voice that you can share. It's okay. And you've gone through things, I'm going to ask you to reminisce on things that you've gone through. A loss of a child, the house burning, having nothing, and starting all over again.
I have a way older brother that, he was involved in meth, which is something that is not good for the island, that is prevailing through the islands in a negative way. So that was the other thing, the other man in my life that I truly trusted, in and out of jail, writing letters, at a young age, also 6 to high school. And just always, believing he's going to be okay. And then the promises that, sister, I'm not going to do it again. And, you can trust me, and I love you. And you'll never have to write another letter to me again in prison, and then seeing him wanting to commit suicide in front of my mom, so even though that part of my life was also like traumatic, he did help in a way that I said, I'm not hanging out with people like this anymore. It helped me to realize and raise red flags of the kind of personalities that, that take drugs, or, might even want to have any curiosity. So that's kind of just what separated me, kind of put the guidelines of what kind of friends that I wanted to be around. So I wasn't involved too much with, having a, environment like that aside from my brother. But that was another reason why I couldn't trust a man. I was just like, okay, so they're, always, I feel like always failing me, and here I was with the most innocent heart, ready to just take in all this love, but it was never that.
I like what you said earlier too, because always remember out there, we are judged by the friends that we keep. And at a very young age, you realize, even if it was a blood relative, her own brother, realizing the lies that he would continually tell her, sister, I'm getting better, sister, I'll never do this again. So, and yet he was continually incarcerated. He lived with lies, and that's what you saw, and you felt, I'm not having this. I love you and my brother, my blood brother, but I am not going to fall victim to your nonsense and to the things that you're doing. And I applaud you for that, seeing that at a young age, and even now with the friends that you keep and the voice that you have. And so tell me more about the burning of the house or other depressions that you were going through, so that people can see the pattern that finally you just said, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah. Our house burned down in, I think it was 6th or 7th grade.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was in school. My parents were late to pick me up, and I saw my dad when he came to pick me up. It just something, I could tell something happened, you know. So then we drove up to Kalihi Valley, and I saw our beautiful home where we made so many memories, you know, wonderful memories. I saw it black, just ashes, you know, looked like charcoal that you put in a grill, and that smell I could never forget. And then that brought on more problems for our family. So from then on, you know, it was just I couldn't deal with the life and the capacity of all of this that was going on. I started cutting, and it wasn't so much that I wanted to hit a vein. It was just I wanted to feel the pain outside, not in.
Yes.
And so as you'll see, there's scars here.
Woo!
Yeah, and everybody be like, oh, you missed your mark. And I'm like, oh no, what I was trying to do was feel it outside, not in, you know. And so whenever people come to me that they feel depressed or suicidal, it's something that really touches my heart. And I want to make sure that I'm a good friend and bring them to resources that can help, because at the time it was like people couldn't see those signs. People didn't know that about me. You know, I hid it well.
Yes,
you know,
you did.
And I believe that people still do that nowadays. They can hide it well through their smile, you know.
Yes.
Just their behavior. And so those are things that I feel like we all have to be mindful of, the signs and not brushing off.
You know, you were looking for love, but you have a beautiful son, your 5-year-old son now. He's just so wonderful and so loving and everything.
A gift from God.
Amen. And talk about all that beauty. We will be right back. You know, thank you for coming back, because I'm going to ask Jazzy, you know, the first time that you had your child and you lost your child with the marriage that you have, and, you know, that must have been extremely dramatic for you. So can you tell me about that?
Yes, I can. That one I think maybe was the heaviest out of everything that I've ever experienced in my life. I think when that happened, I was like, I've been in a rock bottom before, God. Why am I here again? You know, I've been here before. So I think it was 20 weeks. The baby was already formed. We were about to find out the sex. And then I went into early labor. And I didn't know that I had an incompetent cervix. It couldn't hold the weight. And I was seeing a doctor that I really wanted to see, but I listened to the other half and went to another doctor because he said, oh, it's too costly. And I just was like, it's my body, it's my health. And I feel like this doctor is really relatable and really truly cares. He's passionate about what he does, you know. But I listened anyway, and I feel like that's when things turned south. But it was pretty devastating. I gave birth to the baby. We couldn't take him home, of course, because he was too young. So when I gave birth to him, he wasn't breathing already, and that's when he found out the sex. Obviously, he was a boy, and you know, my heart tore, and I just decided I don't want to live after this. Like, how do you live after something like that? But so it was like, you know, so I pretty much had to cope with that new thing, and it didn't end there. She didn't remove the placenta out all the way, so I continued to hemorrhage for months on end. And so when I would call, they'd say, oh, this is what is called postpartum bleeding. And I say, I understand what you're saying. However, this is completely different from what it is. And I believe that you do need to see me. But I was always gentle when I called. And especially experiencing what I was experiencing, I was also weak, you know, and I couldn't fight for myself. I went to work the week after it happened because I just didn't want to be at home thinking about this thing, you know. And I would have explosions come out this way when I would hemorrhage, you know. Usually but it was so much that it would come up this way. And I finally had to call. I put my foot down and I said, absolutely not. I will have an attorney. If you do not listen to what I say, you need to see me perform some kind of DNC or DNE, whatever needs to be done. I need to move forward with my life. That was another experience all in itself. She gave me such a hard time. She still didn't want to do anything about it. I ended up in the emergency room, needed a blood transfusion. And then I'm not going to say she wanted, but the way that the literature was in the form, she had me sign and then came back, oh, I need you to sign this again. And I said, oh, no, not going to. You just scratch something out, put a little hysterectomy. And I was like, yeah, I'm not signing the form.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah.
Because if you did, you wouldn't be able to have any more children.
Right.
And now that you're blessed with your one son again.
Yes.
You know, I was thinking about you because I said, oh, are you knitting? He goes, Auntie, I'm not knitting. It's called crochet. I'm not tutu yet. But with her crocheting, not her knitting, she makes these fabulous, wonderful outfits. And would you ever consider teaching? Would you want to do classes?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I definitely want to pass on that gift. It was something that I did. I had to be on bed rest through the pregnancy, and I said, oh, what am I going to do? And it was crocheting.
You know, I don't know how to crochet, you know, and people out there, if you ever want to learn, we can do a class here in the garden. So, you know, message us or whatever and say, I want to learn to crochet, even if it's doilies or whatever you make, you know, because I've seen your creation. I mean, she doesn't do doilies. She's way over the top than that. And we're going to show you all of her creations later. But what got you into that and who taught you?
Funny story.
Another story.
Funny story. An ex-boyfriend who was abusive, mentally and physically. His mom had little doilies around the house, and I was like, wow, I've always wanted to make bikinis, you know?
Wow.
And so she sat down with me and taught me, and I took the time and I just learned. Even though it was difficult in the beginning, I was like, no, I'm gonna learn how to do this. I'm gonna takes a lot of time. It's not like sewing something, but even sewing takes a lot of time. Anything that you create, you know, takes a lot of thought and a process. So I sat there and I learned, even though I made a lot of mistakes, and I just had so much fun with it. It was therapeutic.
That's nice, you know, and talk about therapeutic. I need to thank you because when I was devastated, when the tree broke in the back, the huge banyan tree, you came with full force and the whole gang came out here to help Auntie, you know, lifting up all these logs and raking up all the rubbish and everything. And I said, oh, don't need, and she said, no, I'm coming, Auntie, because you're always out there by yourself. And thank you so much for coming out and helping me here in the garden. Honestly,
Auntie, my heart is to serve, and you've been such a wonderful woman all my life. I've been away from home, and I moved home to serve. You know, I'm doing what God wants me to do, and I just felt it. You know, I said, Auntie, let's go. No question about it.
Yeah, and that was very touching, and to see you wheelbarrowing all the stuff and my broken wheelbarrow and my broken rake that was missing a couple of teeth on it or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, you know, but that's okay. You know, that's my therapy, and I wasn't trying to put it on anybody else. But when somebody with lots of love said, Auntie, I'm going to come, I'm going to help you, and you stayed all day, and you know, it was such a blessing. I want to thank you so much for all of that.
No, small token of my appreciation. I wanted to make something for you. Here, I'll let you open it.
Oh, you sneaky! I did it! Oh my gosh! I love presents. Oh my gosh! Oh my God! Oh, they're cute. But this is so nice.
Thank you,
look
Auntie.
at you.
Thank you.
So nice, so sweet of you.
I wanted to make it pink for, you know, all of the things you've conquered with
And
2 cancers. You know,
yes. The battle of, yes, I had cancer 2 times, cervical and breast. And I'm just happy to be alive and to be able to, you know, share my stories with you. And you've been amazing and coming to help Auntie in the garden and just calling up and say, how can I help? How can I help? And you know what is really important is that she truly comes with a lot of love. With all her trials and tribulations, people say, why me? Why now? How come? But she's turned to the Lord. And she prayed a lot. And I believe in the power of prayer. I believe in staying with positive friends and in your mindset. And I believe that whenever you're down and out, take up a hobby, do something, clean your closets or meditate or just pray a lot or be with family and friends that you love. And never forget to say thank you. Thank you for yourself. Thank you for people that love you and support you. And thank you, Shawn, for thanking me. And, just so many great people in my life that just continue to come and support me all the time, The staff that is here, Pasita and Yoni and Formidabless. I mean, oh my gosh, I am blessed. I am truly blessed. And I want you to be blessed too, because it's so important. Like even Yoni always says, it's a mindset, Auntie, no matter what happens. We're going through this COVID. We're going through these bad times, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. Pick yourself up. Create yourself. And know the determination in life. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, you will achieve. Never fall and keep yourself down there. Pick yourself up. Pick yourself up. Because if you don't, nobody else will. Right?
Absolutely.
So what would you like to say with all that trials and tribulations that you've gone through?
I met the Lord. Not something, I was raised, in a religion, and then I guess with everything that happened, a friend invited me to church in Las Vegas, and I expected real structure and come in. But it was so inviting. It was a hospital for for everyone to come in and get healing. And this is where I feel like made the most impact in my life is in this church.
Yes.
And it's not so much about a religion; it's the relationship. So with the time that I had there in the church, they knew all my skeletons in the closet, and they still loved me. Still took me on and said, come on, come to church, we're doing fellowship, let's pray, and I could never, I was so uncomfortable to talk about God, to even express how I felt, and so this is not so much just forcing a religion or God on anyone, it's just my experience and how it has helped me. So pretty much, everything that I was dealing with the depression, the insecurities, the mistrust, God has poured into me so much, and the people that He's put in my life has poured into me so much, that the current things that I go through, regardless of what they might say, behave, or think, and regardless of what I believe they may feel like, God always reminds me, it's not what they say, it's what I say about you. I am your creator, you are my daughter. And it doesn't matter what they say. You stay close to me. You focus on the positivity that I give to you, and so that is pretty much, the sum up of how I'm able to just move forward from all of the past things that have happened. His spirit and His love, the way He loves us. There's nothing that can, separate us from Him.
Yes. It is true. Always have something and someone that you can depend on. And that's important. That gives you the strength, that empowers you. And women, we need for you to be empowered. We need for you to just feel good about yourself all the time. Just always remember, surrender, surrender, surrender. You're not alone. I cannot keep saying that enough. You are not alone to feel good about yourself. Surround yourself with positive people. Think about positive quotes that makes you strong to move forward. This is your journey. Yes, this is your journey. Make it the best you can possibly make.
Auntie, this is such a lovely place. And just like she said, come on, come get your healing. But I know that you need help. So ask and you shall receive. How can we all as a community contribute to you and the garden?
Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. Because truly, I never asked, and thank you. Yes, we need a lot of help. Yes, I would like to do events here. Yes, I need wheelbarrows, rakes, lots of love and help and manpower. Thank you for asking. Golly, she put me on the spot.
Yes, Auntie.
And hopefully, yes, in our website, in our talking, in our advertisements, with Formidabless, I will ask. We always need help to keep the garden growing. And we all need to grow from within. We all need to be protective. Don't forget, you know, I love this. Sanitize, sanitize, sanitize. I thank you, Formidabless, for believing in me. Thank you for coming to the garden, the healing garden, and in hopes that because of this place, we can reach out and help others through their struggles, through their adversities. Because, you know, we can't go to Vegas, and they always say, oh, whatever in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, you know, whatever comes to the garden stays in the garden. So you just come.
Yes.
You want to help, you want to clean yard, you want to,
Yes.
you know, donate $5 good for, you know, water,
Yes,
whatever.
Please
But
go
no.
Yes.
But
Yes.
actually, I'm just blessed that we can reach out and talk to you. Thank you, Formidabless, for the beautiful lay, you know, Yoni. I mean, just for just having that vision. Thank you so much. And thank you for all of you out there for watching. I'm blessed. Aloha until I see you again next week. Ahui ho.